Soundcore by Anker has just pounced into the open ear wireless earbud market with two new models. The AeroFit for $130 and the AeroFit Pro for $170. They offered to send me the two models prior to their release, and I accepted their challenge. I've had them for a few weeks now. I won't be reviewing the AeroFit here, but I will be reviewing the AeroFit Pro alongside two bought with my own allowance heavyweights. The 180 2023 Shokz OpenFit and the 150 2023 Oladance Wearable Stereo version 2, more commonly known as OWS 2, priced at $150. If you're interested in this open ear wireless earbud form factor, my assumption is that you, like I, have exceedingly little tolerance for uncomfortable, unstable personal audio devices that invade your body cavities. And in regard to sound, maybe you're not demanding transcendence or astonishment, but how about satisfying, well-rounded, an audio device that does your playlist justice? The closest I've gotten to this goal are my Shokz Openrunn Pro, best in the conduction biz. But sadly, they really disappoint Mother when it comes to sound, particularly its bass output, which, instead of making it to your brain, it mostly floats out into space, as free as a giggling moonbeam. Could it be that one or more of these models are just as comfortable while sounding better, threatening my atomic bond with my Aqua Blues? We'll find out. Comfort and stability. Good news, all three sets have flexible hooks, which is an absolute necessity for comfort on this form factor, and all three remain stable even through sweaty workouts. Of the three, I found the AeroFit Pro to be the most comfortable. You might have expected the OpenFit because it's the sleekest and lightest of the bunch, but that's not how it played out for me and my situation. Yes, I assume most of you have eyes. Through my deep immersion with these sets, I identified two factors that most contribute to discomfort. First, the hook shape. If it's nice and curved all the way through and there is some breathing room, you're better off than an acute, somewhat jagged, unforgiving angle, in particular when considering extended use. You'll start to feel it. Second is how squeezy the assembly is in this direction, squeeziness being a function of spacing and flexibility. The more squeezy, the more your ear is clamped, and more forcefully the speaker may lodge against your pinna, which can cause fatigue. You'll also want to consider how close the speaker is to the stem, which can further contribute to the squeeze. The AeroFit Pro most successfully designed around those two pain point opportunities for me, which I think extends to those with regular to larger sized ears. I could get through a workout with rowing, push-ups, and sit-ups without being bothered much at all. And in the less strenuous moments, I can wear them around for about an hour before feeling the level of fatigue that would typically prompt me to take a break. For context, I feel the same way about my Blues after about an hour due to the fairly assertive squeeze on the head. The OWS 2 with the aggressively angled hook did result in some minor ows on my end. When you first put them on, they feel great, very promising, well built, and then I would be 5-10 minutes into my nightly walk, and I would start to notice a top pinch, which leads to fidgeting. And because I choose not to be really, really manly all the time, I would typically take them off and heroically continue in silence. I gave it a number of tries. I really wanted this relationship to work. The OpenFit is the smallest and most aggressively lodges this elongated noisemaker against this part of the ear. They even put a silicone pad on the tip as an acknowledgement of possible discomfort. However, the tension in the wire is the loosest of the three. The OpenFit does seem to provide the greatest stability technically, as it was the only one I could not shake off my best friend's head. As the AeroFit Pro and the OWS 2 are on the chunky side, if your ears are small, you will likely find that they are too loose. In these cases, you might more strongly consider the soundcore AeroFit or Shokz OpenFit. So what about glasses? They were a non-issue for me with all of these sets. I was able to slip on thin and thick frames alike without collisions or changes in comfort. The stems of the bud and frames of the glasses kind of just settle and find their own space. So I want to talk about this neckband that comes with the AeroFit Pro. It's advertised to assist with stability, but that's not why I want to talk about it. I straight up dissed this thing and let it sit in the packaging for a few days, lamenting yet another little widget that will clutter up my drawers. But once I got around to attaching it, a light bulb went off. That the band transforms the buds to a form factor that I have a deep emotional connection to. I've never been an earbuds guy, in part because I want to keep track of one thing, not three. The band also has this dead simple adjustment mechanism that gives you the freedom to find the right fit wherever the buds may be. This is a marked advantage over my baby blues here, as they've always been a pinch to strangle-ish. Sound. Take a listen for yourself, a la my buddy.
It's like she stole my heart without knowing she did. It's like she stole my heart without knowing she did. It's like she stole my heart without knowing she did.
Digging deeper, my three big observations. First, all three provide a fuller, more satisfying sound than even the best bone conduction sets. 2, distortion is an absolute issue in the lower mids and bass at higher volumes. 3, the AeroFit Pro manages the distortion issue better than the OWS2 and OpenFit, though through a compromise I'll discuss. So don't take my word for it. Let's continue with the AeroFit Pro. Soundcore boasts a 16.2mm driver with titanium-coated domes that they claim delivers robust bass and clear audio. Soundcore also calls out their uniquely designed nozzle that directs sound more effectively to avoid sound leakage. In terms of sound adjustment options, you have custom EQ with 8 bands, Soundcore's signature sound along with the podcast, treble boost, and spatial modes, which can do the freakish audio behind your head trick when you spin around. I predominantly tested in EQ mode because regardless of how you set the bands, it led to a cleaner and more open experience. The sound profile is modern and bright. Trebly, instrumental, and vocal lines really glimmered, and were given an impressive sense of space and a healthy dose of that top-level prickly energy, perhaps to a fault. This is not a thick mids nor bass rumbling set, and that may be a deal breaker for you. The bass offers critical shape, but you won't be amazed by the bass volume. As you heard, distortion is an issue with these little drivers, and I think Soundcore made choices to limit the amplitude of the frequencies to avoid something worse. The OWS2, you're working with 16.5mm drivers. You got sound modes, including surging bass, which ups the bass presence to a degree, and pure voice that limits lower mids and bass to emphasize vocal frequencies. You can adjust EQ, but the changes did not make a sizable impact on the sound. So where the AeroFit Pro has an energetic sound, I would classify the OWS2 as fuller, warmer, more inviting, with substantially more attention given to the mid-range and bass. I can definitely hear why these have received some positive attention. At a mid to lower volume and on certain tracks, everything will probably run swimmingly, with surprisingly satisfying sound. But when that track changes to something more demanding, perhaps you're feeling it and want to turn up the volume, or you're in a louder environment and need to turn things up to hear properly. I gotta say it, the frequent blowout level distortion just sprinkles grumpy dust everywhere. The OpenFit has 11 by 18 millimeter drivers. They definitely increase their sound control options over the conduction series, including manual EQ, bass, and treble modes. Shokz boasts about their direct pitch technology that is advertised as providing a quality response all throughout the frequency range. In regards to playback, Shokz did a near amazing job, especially given how compact these are. I'd say the sound profile did mimic more closely the OWS2's sound goals. OpenFit was certainly less timid with bass frequencies than the AeroFit Pro. If you're being careful about volume and some of those bass-heavy tracks, you will have a solid experience with a clear bass presence. But we have a similar situation here as the OWS2. If you stumble on that banger and just want to turn things up, fire up bass boost, you hit a similar distortion wall. Okay, features and other considerations. Sound privacy. No major differences between models that I could discern. My general advice is if you're in an extremely quiet room and there are people next to you, and you have the volume at 60% or higher, yes, they'll be able to hear something. If you're passing through and/or there is any level of background noise, it will get washed out and no one will be the wiser. Situational awareness, also no major differences. Open ear sets help me identify that semi trying to run me over, but I prudently shy away from extended conversations while audio is active, as it is more difficult to follow speech. And you will come across a little strange. Microphone quality. All sets have multiple microphones to improve voice clarity and to minimize background noise. Take a listen. This is the Oladance OWS2. This is the Oladance OWS2. This is the Shokz OpenFit. This is the Shokz OpenFit. This is the soundcore AeroFit Pro. This is the soundcore AeroFit Pro. This is the Oladance OWS2 with a loud background. This is the Oladance OWS2 with a loud background. This is the Shokz OpenFit with a loud background. This is the Shokz OpenFit with a loud background. This is the soundcore AeroFit Pro in a loud background. This is the soundcore AeroFit Pro in a loud background. Design. All three have an admirable build quality with high quality materials. The OpenFit offers up the sleekest, most lightweight, business-oriented look, with a soft touch extending to the controls, which I really like. The OWS2 has the boldest design, having two big candy-like chunks on both ends and offering colors meant to be noticed. I think they look really cool, eye-catching in a fun way, a conversation starter. My wife's feedback, not girly. The AeroFit Pro from far away looks generic, but upon closer inspection, you'll notice interesting details, making these the most ornate of the three. Some examples: the unique tessellated speaker grille that serves an acoustic function. Also, these three race stripe-like vents and this subtle soundcore watermarking. Lurking underneath, you have an aerospace-grade titanium wire capable of withstanding bunches and bunches of bends without changing shape. Wireless playback. All have the latest Bluetooth version 5.3, except the OpenFit, which has 5.2. The AeroFit Pro does support lossless playback via LDAC, which is not supported on iOS devices, mainly just Samsung phones. Multipoint pairing. Due to a recent OpenFit update, all three devices can connect to two devices at once. So I can, without hassle, run out with just my buds and Apple Watch and bask in freedom until my wife texts me to return home. Water resistance. In terms of protecting from sweat, which is probably the primary concern, you're good with every set supporting a water resistance rating of 4 and higher. The AeroFit Pro has an IPX5 rating, which means it can fend off a constant water stream. Controls, my favorite, the AeroFit Pro, for the very simple reason that they are physical buttons which is less likely to be misinterpreted or pressed by accident. In particular, when taking them on and off, which really started to annoy me when preparing for this review. Second favorite would be the OpenFit, as they do have a little bump to mark the virtual button location. All the sets have customizable controls and allows for actions like single and double tap. The OWS2 goes a little further with triple tap and swipe gestures. That is a little too hit and miss for my taste. The apps, I thought all of them performed well. I had no issue making connections. Assigning the controls was dead simple. The audio adjustment controls were straightforward. Each app made it easy to keep track of battery levels, and firmware updates were breezy. Battery life. The OWS2 advertises 19 hours of listening. If you've stumbled upon 94 hours playback with the charging case on the website, be aware that the included default case I have here is not the charging case. The 94-hour case is a $50 accessory, making this the most expensive set if you want case parity with the AeroFit Pro and OpenFit. OpenFit advertises 7 hours of listening off a single charge and 28 with the case. A more humble battery life is a downside to being compact. The AeroFit Pro boasts 14 hours off a single charge and 46 with the included battery case, which is pretty decent. Seems like a charge the case once or twice a week kind of number, even with heavy use. The cases, they're all relatively chunky as the buds are less compact than their in-ear cousins. If tight pants are what's happening today, your case will, family show, present itself. All the cases are chargeable via USB-C, and the buds must be in their case to charge. Despite their similarities, the winner in both function and design is the AeroFit Pro case. With its elegantly embedded battery level status LEDs, an open button for one-handed access that when on a table raises and tilts the buds towards you as though you're a person of prominence. The chintziest feeling case is the OpenFit, which surprised me a bit given Shokz's emphasis on fit and finish. The OWS2 case feels average and is oddly shaped to say the least, and tips over when the case is open and the buds are absent, which is an extremely clever troll to get you to upgrade to the battery case. My final assessment, considering sound and comfort alone, I would choose the AeroFit Pro. Comfort and distortion management being the deciding factors. The neckband, case, physical buttons, water resistance, and generous battery life would not impact my overall preference, but does further brighten my attitude towards this product. So, will I be replacing my Openrunn Pro? No. But they will be sharing time with the AeroFit Pro. I still think the Openrunn Pro is just mildly more comfortable, and I 70% listen to books and podcasts. I don't benefit as much from audio quality in those instances. When I'm in the mood for music, which this set has convinced me to go for music more often, I think the dramatic audio improvement is worth the mild comfort difference. The reduction in head squeeze is also appreciated. Having used bone conduction headphones, let's say 99.4% of the time in the last 6 years, this is a significant endorsement. So before heading out, if you like what you heard about the AeroFit Pro but want to spend significantly less, maybe go a little smaller, you might want to consider the AeroFit. I handed my set off to my wife, as she also is no fan of in-ear buds, but likes quality, lightweight, stable headphones when working out. Since you're still here, and only if you found this video beneficial in some fashion, please help me reach my 22,000 sub goal by 2024, because even though my channel is small, I have big feelings. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.